Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful, cool Tuesday morning. We're excited to bring you the most explosive and breathtaking updates from Fairmont Crest, where dark secrets are never buried for too long and betrayal lurks in every corner. Our previews for Beyond the Gates for Tuesday, July 14th, reveal an emotional day as unexpected news sends Donnie rushing off. Old tensions are temporarily set aside, and Haley's latest plot twist creates even more chaos. Meanwhile, Ted is cornered after Cott makes another unexpected move. Today's psychological battle will leave you completely stunned. One phone call is all it takes to turn Donnie's entire world upside down. The plans she has left unfinished, the responsibilities she has been trying to control, and even the calm exterior she has worked so hard to maintain are all suddenly pushed aside. Donnie leaves almost immediately, without time to prepare and without enough patience to explain herself to anyone. Her reaction suggests that the person on the other end of the line is not simply delivering ordinary bad news. It must be a desperate plea serious enough to strike at her deepest fear, forcing Donnie to act before she can consider the consequences. With Bill lying in the hospital and his condition becoming more alarming by the moment, it is difficult to believe that this emergency call has nothing to do with him. The caller is most likely Chelsea or Naomi. Both women are being pushed to the limits of their endurance as they watch their father grow weaker while no one can explain exactly what is happening to him. If Bill's condition suddenly takes a dangerous turn, Chelsea may be the first to panic because she understands that, in a hospital, even a few minutes of delay can mean the difference between life and death. Naomi also has every reason to contact Donnie, especially while she is facing her own BRCA diagnosis and a medical future filled with uncertainty. A woman already terrified about her own health may no longer have the strength to maintain a brave face while watching her father fight for his life. The call to Donnie may therefore be more than an update about Bill. It may be a cry for help from daughters who feel as though their entire family is beginning to collapse. Donnie may have ended her relationship with Bill long ago, but their past has never truly disappeared. Bill is no longer the man she wants to share her life with, yet he remains the father of her daughters and a permanent part of the family history she cannot simply erase. What angers Donnie most may not only be the possibility that Bill could die, but also the realization that she is still being pulled back into his chaos after everything he has put her through. Donnie wants to believe that she has moved on, but the moment she hears that Bill is in danger, every emotion she has tried to bury rises to the surface again. Fear, resentment, compassion, and guilt collide inside her, leaving her unable to decide whether she is rushing to the hospital for Bill or for the daughters who desperately need their mother. In my opinion, this is the most compelling part of Donnie's internal conflict. She may be angry with herself for still caring about Bill, while becoming even more furious when she sees Haley standing beside him as the grieving and devoted wife. Donnie knows she no longer has the right to interfere in Bill's marriage, yet her instincts continue warning her that something is wrong. Bill's unexplained weakness, his prolonged decline, and Haley's suspicious habit of always being present at crucial moments may disturb Donnie from the second she enters the hospital. However, instinct is not evidence. Donnie may suspect Haley, but if she accuses her too quickly, everyone may assume that jealousy and unresolved feelings are controlling her judgment. While Donnie races to the hospital, Chelsea, Naomi, and Madison unexpectedly set aside their differences and form a united front. Their alliance does not mean that every conflict between them has been resolved. On the contrary, it exists because all three understand that they are facing something more dangerous than their personal disagreements. Madison's legal problems are closing in. An upcoming deposition could expose secrets no one wants to confront, and Bill's health has suddenly collapsed at the most sensitive possible moment. With so many crises unfolding at once, these women have no choice but to temporarily stand on the same side. Madison may be trying to prepare for a legal battle, but Bill's hospitalization throws her entire strategy into chaos. Bill could be a crucial witness, someone who possesses information capable of protecting or destroying her. If he is not conscious or stable enough to testify, Madison may be left in an extremely vulnerable position. That makes her concern for Bill complicated. She may genuinely care about him, but she cannot stop herself from thinking about the legal consequences if he never wakes up. The combination of real emotion and self-interest could fill Madison with shame, and that shame may quickly transform into anger toward everyone around her. Chelsea may notice that anxiety and begin questioning Madison's true motives. Naomi, meanwhile, may find herself trapped between them, trying to protect her father while preventing the fragile alliance from falling apart before they discover what is really happening. One suspicious glance or one concealed detail could destroy the entire partnership. Yet it may be during one of these arguments that Madison notices something unusual in Bill's medical records. It could be a delayed test result, a pattern that does not match the original diagnosis, or evidence suggesting that Bill has been exposed to an unknown substance over a long period of time. At first, the doctors may believe that Bill is suffering from a cardiovascular complication, a neurological condition, or a reaction to medication. But when the usual tests fail to explain the extent of his deterioration, they are forced to widen the investigation. The deeper they look, the clearer it becomes that Bill's condition does not resemble a naturally developing illness. His symptoms appear inconsistently, the damage in his body does not match his medical history. And certain results may suggest that a toxic substance has been accumulating in his system for weeks or even months. If that theory is confirmed, the entire atmosphere inside the hospital will change immediately. This is the moment when Haley truly finds herself trapped. Until now, she has controlled events by keeping everyone occupied with other crises. Haley does not need to eliminate every enemy directly. She only needs to make them distrust one another, fight among themselves, and remain distracted long enough to stop looking in her direction. But a hospital is an environment she cannot completely manipulate. Laboratory results are not influenced by fake tears, and medical records cannot be persuaded by a convincing performance of grief. When Haley realizes that the doctors are getting close to the truth, she is unlikely to run. Disappearing now would be almost the same as confessing. Instead, she may choose the more dangerous option, staying close, playing the devoted wife, and attempting to control the investigation from within. Haley could appear devastated beside Bill's bed, constantly question the doctors, and make everyone believe that no one cares about his recovery more than she does. She may also volunteer information about Bill's medication, diet, and recent stress, introducing several alternative explanations to distract from the possibility of poisoning. However, the harder Haley tries to appear perfect, the more likely she is to expose herself. Donnie may notice that Haley knows far too much about medication dosages or the exact timing of Bill's first symptoms. Chelsea may remember how often Haley insisted on preparing Bill's drinks herself. Naomi may realize that her father usually became weaker after spending long periods alone with Haley. Each detail may be meaningless by itself, but once the women begin placing the pieces together, a terrifying pattern starts to form. In my view, Haley's downfall will be far more convincing if it does not begin with one obvious piece of evidence, but with a series of small inconsistencies that force her to lie repeatedly in order to protect herself. Every new lie will require her to correct the previous one. She will become nervous, increasingly aggressive, and begin seeing everyone as a threat. Donnie may only need to ask the right question at the right time to provoke an extreme reaction. Naomi may only need to request a pharmacy receipt or a list of everything Bill has consumed to send Haley into panic. The pressure itself could cause a woman who has always seemed confident and controlled to begin making mistakes. Haley understands that Naomi may be the most dangerous person to her now. Chelsea may be direct and Donnie may be quick-tempered, but Naomi has the patience to pursue a suspicion until she reaches the truth. Her BRCA diagnosis has caused enormous pain, but it has also forced her to pay closer attention to medical reports, genetic factors, and warning signs she might once have ignored. If Naomi begins investigating Bill's condition, she may be the first to recognize that his symptoms are not related to age, genetics, or an ordinary disease. That could explain why Haley still has time to manipulate Tomas even while Bill is lying in the hospital. At first glance, her interference in the relationship between Tomas and Naomi may appear unrelated to the poisoning scheme. But on closer inspection, it may be a carefully designed distraction. Haley knows that Naomi is emotionally vulnerable. The BRCA result has made her feel as though her own body has betrayed her, while Bill's condition has filled her with terror that she could lose her father before she has time to prepare herself. All Haley needs is for Tomas to apply pressure at exactly the wrong moment, pushing Naomi toward an emotional breakdown. Haley may convince Tomas that Naomi is allowing her family to interfere too deeply in Kat's life, or suggest that Naomi is using Bill's illness as an excuse to control everyone around her. Tomas, already frustrated after his problems with Kat, may listen because Haley's words appeal directly to his wounded pride. He could confront Naomi, demand that she stop interfering in private matters, or accuse her of turning every family crisis into an excuse to control other people. Under normal circumstances, Naomi might remain composed. But after the BRCA shock and the fear of losing her father, those accusations will feel like an attack on a wound that is still bleeding. Naomi's anger will not be directed at Tomas alone. It will also be anger toward fate, toward her own body, toward Bill for making her afraid, toward Haley for always appearing at suspicious moments, and even toward herself for failing to remain calm. Naomi may react harshly, force Tomas out of the hospital, or openly criticize him in front of Kat. That outburst would deepen the family conflict, exactly as Haley intended. Tomas is not entirely an innocent puppet. He carries his own frustration from feeling ignored and disrespected. After everything that has happened with Kat, Tomas may want to prove that he is capable of making decisions and protecting his relationship. Haley only needs to feed that wounded ego to turn him into a useful weapon. By the time Tomas realizes that he has been manipulated, the damage may already be done. He will not only have destroyed his relationship with Naomi, but may also cause Kat to question whether he truly understands her family at all. While Naomi is consumed by her conflict with Tomas, Haley gains more time to reach Bill. She could attempt to remain alone with him, claiming she wants to care for her husband or share a private moment. If Bill begins to wake up and remember something, Haley will understand that the threat is no longer limited to laboratory tests. Bill may remember a strange taste in a drink, recall becoming weaker after Haley gave him medication, or begin to suspect the woman standing beside him. This could push Haley toward her most dangerous decision. She may try to interfere with Bill's medication, alter a reading on his monitoring equipment, or create a situation that makes his decline appear natural. Haley does not necessarily need to do anything obvious. It may be enough to leave Bill unable to speak or to force him into a deeper coma, protecting her secret for a little longer. But every additional attempt raises the danger and increases the chance that she will be caught in the act. Donnie may be the person who arrives at exactly the right moment, not because she has proof, but because her instincts refuse to allow Haley to remain alone with Bill. The confrontation between the two women will no longer be a simple battle between an ex-wife and a current wife. It will become a collision between a woman trying to protect her family and another woman desperately trying to protect her crime. Donnie may release every ounce of anger she has been holding inside. From Bill's separation from his daughters to the way Haley has manipulated everyone through her carefully maintained image of innocence. However, Donnie may also make a serious mistake because of that anger. If she attacks Haley with accusations that are not supported by evidence, Haley will immediately present herself as the victim. She may convince the doctors to remove Donnie from the room, persuade Bill that his ex-wife is creating chaos, or even use Donnie's behavior to divide her from Chelsea and Naomi. That is what makes this conflict so dangerous. Donnie may be correct about Haley, but if she loses control, she could unintentionally give Haley more time to cover her tracks. Chelsea, Naomi, and Madison must therefore remain united far longer than anyone expects. Chelsea may be the one who restrains Donnie, Naomi may focus on the medical records, and Madison may use her legal knowledge to make sure no evidence disappears. Together, they could terrify Haley because she would no longer be fighting separate individuals, but a group of women who are sharing information. The moment one of them discovers something suspicious, the others can protect and verify it. Still, their alliance will be tested when their own secrets begin coming to light. Madison may be hiding something connected to the deposition. Chelsea may discover that Naomi knew something about Bill's condition but did not speak up earlier. Naomi may feel that everyone is treating her like a fragile patient instead of a woman capable of making her own decisions. Haley will certainly exploit those weaknesses. She could make Chelsea believe that Madison only cares about saving herself, convince Naomi that Donnie is using Bill's condition to force her way back into his life, or make Donnie believe that her daughters no longer trust her. In another storyline, Cott's latest action leaves Ted completely stunned. His reaction suggests that Cott has done more than make an ordinary impulsive decision. She may have changed in a way that makes her family feel as though they no longer recognize her. After everything she has experienced, Cott may have become too calm, too determined, or even too forgiving. And that sudden positive transformation could frighten Ted more than an obvious emotional breakdown. A person who is suffering but suddenly becomes completely calm is not always healing. Sometimes it means that person has made an extreme decision and no longer cares about the consequences. Cott may announce that she is cutting someone out of her life, abandoning an important plan, or placing her future entirely in the hands of a choice Ted considers dangerous. She could also suddenly defend Eva, forgive someone too quickly, or attempt to restructure the family after recent revelations involving health or possible blood ties. That generosity may appear admirable, but to Ted, it could be a sign that Cott is suppressing her pain rather than truly confronting it. Ted usually tries to remain calm because he believes he must be the most stable person in the family. But Cott's actions could strike directly at his deepest fear, that he no longer understands his own daughter. Ted may become angry not because Cott has done something evil, but because she has made a decision without needing his guidance. His anger may contain the helplessness of a father realizing that his daughter has grown through too much pain and is now choosing her own path, even if that path could lead to disaster. Cott may also be trying to prove that she is not weak. When everyone constantly watches her, protects her, and worries about her, she may begin to feel as though she is being treated like a problem that needs to be managed. Her transformation may come from a desperate need to regain control. The more her family questions her, the more aggressively she may defend herself. The harder Ted tries to stop her, the more determined Cott may become to prove him wrong. This creates a dangerous emotional cycle because both of them are acting out of love while making the other feel betrayed. In my opinion, the frightening question is not whether Cott is becoming worse or better. It is that no one knows which version of Cott is real after everything she has endured. If she becomes cold and distant, the family will fear that pain has turned into resentment. If she becomes overly forgiving, they will suspect that she is hiding a self-destructive decision. No matter what Cott chooses, Ted will feel that he is losing the ability to protect her. That helplessness may cause him to become more controlling, pushing Cott away from the family at the exact moment she needs them most. All of these storylines are slowly converging around the same theme. Every character is attempting to regain control while their lives are falling apart. Donnie races to the hospital because she cannot tolerate the thought of her daughters facing the crisis alone. Chelsea, Naomi, and Madison unite because each woman fears losing something important if Bill never wakes up. Haley continues manipulating Tomas because she understands that the moment everyone stops fighting one another, they will start looking at her. Ted becomes furious over Cott's transformation because he cannot accept that he is no longer able to control his daughter's decisions. Their anger is not simply a negative emotion. It is an expression of fear, helplessness, and wounds that have never been acknowledged. Johnny is angry because she still cares about Bill. Naomi is angry because both her body and her family have become unstable at the same time. Tomas is angry because he feels dismissed. Kat reacts in extreme ways because she no longer wants other people making decisions for her. Ted loses control because he fears that one more mistake will destroy what remains of the family. Haley is angry too, but her anger is different from everyone else's. It comes from the realization that control is finally slipping out of her hands. When the final test results arrive, the family may be forced to confront a truth none of them wants to believe. Bill is not suffering from a natural illness. His body has been attacked deliberately and systematically, and the person responsible may still be standing beside his hospital bed. Only one question remains: can Chelsea, Naomi, Madison, and Donnie overcome their own conflicts long enough to expose Haley before she makes one final move? Or will anger and suspicion continue tearing them apart until Bill no longer has any chance to wake up and reveal the truth?